I think it's time we have a proper sit-down conversation regarding the state of Chelsea Football Club right now. And I think the Mathys Tel news story of him being hijacked by Spurs and preferring a move to Tottenham Hotspur over Chelsea Football Club speaks volumes as to exactly what is wrong with the club right now. Even though Mathys Tel has been a massive target for Chelsea this entire window, these past 4 weeks, that's all we've done. We've just looked at Mathys Tel. We've been in conversation with his camp. We've been trying to convince him to leave Bayern Munich. He announced he's leaving Bayern Munich a few days ago. He plays his last game. He claps the fans. Great player, fantastic. And then it's expected that Chelsea are going to swoop in because we've been hearing this entire transfer window that if Mathys Tel or Bayern Munich or anybody in his camp suggests even the slightest inclination that he wants to leave Bayern, Chelsea will swoop him. Chelsea have swooped him, and you know what's happened? Mathys Tel has gone, no, I don't want that. Keep me far away from that club. You know, the club that won Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues not that long ago. Keep me far away. Do you know why? Because I won't get the opportunity. I'll be on the bench. Yes, Mathys Tel isn't the final product, and I do think that he has some areas of his game that he needs to improve upon. But by the fact that he's looking at our team and he doesn't see it as an opportunity to, again, prove himself and to earn his way to be a starter for one of the biggest clubs in the world, and he'd rather choose Tottenham Hotspur over Chelsea, again, I think that speaks volumes as to just how far our club has fallen. Yes, he would have competition with the likes of Jadon Sancho on the left wing. But if you don't rate yourself highly enough to the point where you think that you might be given an opportunity over Jadon Sancho, who, let's be honest, in the past has been unreliable at other clubs and has dealt with injury issues, so there would be an opportunity for him to prove himself and to make himself the starter for Chelsea Football Club. That there inherently tells me that Mathys Tel, I think he's looking at other reasons as to not join Chelsea. I don't think it's even a case of he doesn't think he'll get the amount of minutes that he wants or that he thinks that he'll just be on the bench. I genuinely think he looks at Chelsea as a dead product. And you know what? I don't blame him. Chelsea right now have been run into the absolute dirt by the sporting directors and, Clear Lake Capital as a whole. Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart should be ashamed of themselves and the way that they conducted themselves this January transfer window. A very important window, can I just say. Chelsea really need to make Champions League football, like really badly. If Chelsea don't make Champions League football, the money dries up. The players that we promised, Project 2030, you'll be playing at this level, 100-point team. They will be looking at this going, I've been at the club for a few seasons now. We're still not playing Champions League football. We haven't even got a sponsor on the front of our shirts because the club is doing so poorly that brands don't even consider us worthy enough of their money and their logo. What seems obvious to the fan and the everyday man watching Chelsea Football Club or just watching any Premier League team isn't obvious to the likes of Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart. While there is clubs out there, as I said, signing the likes of Mathys Tel, in contacts with players like Victor Gyökeres, we're trying to sign the next and best 16-year-old for 10 million. It blows my mind how we can be towards the end of one of the most important January transfer windows in recent seasons, considering how important this season is for the future of the club. Enzo Maresca's first at the club, where we brought in the likes of Pedro Neto, we brought in the likes of Jadon Sancho, João Felix has come back to the club, although it looks like he's on his way out to Aston Villa with John Duran going to the Saudi League for 80 million euros. A former Chelsea target there, joining the Saudi League. We've still got players on the books who should really have been moved on. We've still got a no move. This is coming in from CFC Pies, and he highlighted it perfectly. We still got no move for the likes of Dewsbury Hall, no move for Carney Chukwuemeka, who's getting 0 minutes and showed extreme promise for Chelsea. We've got no move for Ben Chilwell, a player who has been not utilised at all by Enzo Maresca. Injury prone and is picking up 200,000 a week, something around there. Unbelievably stupid money for a player just sitting on the bench sipping pina coladas. Again, the stuff regarding Disasi, who has been unreliable at Chelsea. He's had moments where he's looked half decent against Manchester City. He looked good against Man City. He's looked good in other moments, but in terms of being a starting centre back for Chelsea, he's nowhere near that level. We need Thiago Silva level players. We need John Terry. We need Carvalho level players. Not Disasi, okay? We have issues in the midfield with injuries. We've got players like Enzo Fernandez being run into the ground. Caicedo could pick up an injury any time now. We've got Romeo Lavia out injured. We've got Renato Vega off on loan to Juventus. And we're refusing to recall Andre Santos or utilise the likes of Cesar Caste, who are looking to sell. I saw some reports on how the club believes that Reece James could be an important player for Chelsea's midfield struggles, although I understand how Maresca's system works. Usually the right back or it can be the left back inverts into the midfield, creates a midfield pivot with the 3 centre backs and the full back with the goalkeeper coming forward and as like an outfield defender. I understand how all that works, but Reece James, you're relying on a player who again is unreliable due to injuries, so that doesn't fix the midfield problems at all, because you're just replacing unreliable players like Romeo Lavia with unreliable players like Reece James. Now, I think Chelsea really needed to pick up another midfielder. I think we really need to pick up a striker. We needed to pick up a winger. We need to pick up a goalkeeper. There are so many areas of this team that need desperate reinforcement. Again, one of the most important seasons in recent Chelsea history, because if we don't get top 4, that's it. So many players are going to be calling up their agents saying, I want out of this club. They are not doing anything positive for my career. Please get me to a club that is in Champions League football or at least Europa League football, because I don't even think by the end of the season we'll have reached that. Maybe we can get there if we win the Conference League, but honestly, knowing this club, something's going to happen. We're going to bottle it in the semi-final or something like that. I genuinely believe Chelsea are in a shocking state right now, and it is down to the sporting directors and Bedad Egbali, who again are obsessed with finding the best young talents, but fail to actually address the main issues of the squad. They want to rely on the likes of Nicholas Jackson, but then they don't realise that Nicholas Jackson is unreliable. He's not the best player in the world. And I don't think Chelsea needs the best player in the world. I think Chelsea needs someone who is consistent. I think Chelsea need a world-class striker. Again, you could say Victor Osimhen, who's in Turkey, or with my option, if I could buy any striker in the world right now, and no, it wouldn't be Šeško, it would in fact be Victor Gyökeres. Go get yourself a Victor Gyökeres. If you want to fix a season, if you want Chelsea to be in the top 4 and you want Chelsea to be in the Champions League, go get a Victor Gyökeres. Don't get James White, the 15-year-old wonder kid from Watford for £14 million. That's not helping. How is that helping Chelsea? How is that helping the club? Young players, young prodigy players aren't going to want to join Chelsea if Chelsea aren't competing in the highest levels of football, because they will be thinking, well, why would I join that club? Why don't I just join Arsenal? Why don't I just join Liverpool? Why don't I go to Bayern Munich or Juventus? What does Chelsea offer me that these clubs aren't? Well, Chelsea offers you Conference League football. Those clubs offer you Champions League football. Who do you want to sign for? Not Chelsea. So their model of signing young players on low wages for a low fee with the hopes of selling them in the future for high margins is going to collapse rather quickly if we continue down this path, because they have neglected the first team in terms of spending, in terms of what it actually needs. Again, it doesn't need the next 15-year-old who's going to be fantastic in 5 or 10 years' time. It needs world-class, proven players now, and they have failed that. One question to you. Is Garnacho going to save us? Is Garnacho going to be the difference maker between top 4 and top 7? No. Then why have we spent so long hyperfixating on Garnacho and not a striker and not a goalkeeper? I saw a report earlier about Gregor Kobel. Again, I'm a big fan of Kobel. In fact, in one of my biggest videos, How to Rebuild Chelsea, he was the goalkeeper who I chose to be Chelsea's #1 goalkeeper. Maybe they're a fan of the channel. I hope they are and they see this video, because my message to them is leave my football club, Clear Lake Capital included, leave the club, have Saudi investors come in, because Saudi investors are always looking to splash money, and I'm sure Chelsea and Todd Bowley could get a deal done there, so they could come in, just be the ones that provide the cash. And then my idea would be appoint Txiki Begiristain, the former sporting director for Manchester City. You know, the club that's just won. You know, the club that's won back-to-back Premier Leagues, left, right and centre, signed the likes of Erling Haaland, some of the best players in the world. Yeah, that Txiki Begiristain. I want him at the club. I don't want Paul and Stanley or Lawrence Stewart. I don't want Brighton rejects at my club. We need the best people behind closed doors in order to reclaim our throne at the top of the Premier League. It starts with Clear Lake Capital. It starts with Winstanley and Stewart, and it starts with smarter decision-making going forward in terms of what Chelsea actually needs. Does it need the next 15-year-old? No. Does it need a world-class striker? Yes. Does it need a world-class goalkeeper? Yes. Does it need Garnacho? No. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.